calling with the 5.
Donnie, can you give me a test on your mic?
What up, y'all? This is a testing it all out.
Yeah, that's a cool cover.
That's the figure you have.
Yes. You want that action figure?
I have one.
What is it? Oh, okay, the one where you talk the eyeball. Switches up, and I'm doing the talking thing. Is this good, or you want me to stop talking?
Okay,
now?
we're starting dirty here.
Well, Brad got one? Oh, hey, look, Brad got a mic, y'all.
Brad's got a mic,
Yes.
and it seems to be working. All right. So this is another fine episode of podcasting from Beyond the Grave.
Yes, and we are here sitting around a ton of comic books.
Yeah, it's very cozy. It's very basement-y right now. There's the old paper smell. There's less floor space because comics are heavy if you put them in really long boxes.
There's lots of vertical space.
There's lots of vertical space.
High ceilings.
That helps in the giant ass window. Anyways, so we're sitting in the midst of a pile of comics, and this episode is titled I made a box of dicks. Because during the text feed last night, we were talking back and forth. Brad was discussing he's going through all his comics, putting them in order, maybe finding some more stuff he might get rid of, but just putting them on this really awesome order. And he's like, I watched the Nolan Batman movies, and I made a box of dicks. And I said, I'm so glad we're getting together tomorrow because that's going to be the...
I said it is the box of dick.
Oh, the box of dicks.
Because
okay.
No, not plural. It's the box of dick because
Okay.
it's all the Nightwing.
Yes, it does sound better that way.
Yeah, well, it makes more sense that way because it's not plural. It's
Well,
all,
I mean, he was saying dicks is in plural because there is a lot of Nightwing over there.
Yes, but
yeah, from the
it's lovely. When
all the
you
solo
can-
series, the short term, the Grayson series where he was working for a spy group called Spiral,
So, yeah,
and
a lot of dicks.
yeah, that's pretty much
Now, is that a long box of dick?
yes.
Or is it a short box of
It's a
dick?
long box.
Okay. This is my favorite thing. I love when you can mash them together sometimes
Right.
and make even the stuff you love. That's
Fun game.
Yeah, and we just like this.
And yes, and that's I have brung a Nightwing DC versus Vampire
I just saw the cover that Todd used for the back of the
on
box.
the back of the box.
Yeah, so.
I seen
And we were
it.
talking about how comic accurate the figure is.
yes.
A lot of, I do like that Todd's doing that. That he is
Actually reading the comics,
getting
and putting them
people
in there.
to buy figures of characters that are only exist in the comics.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's looking at certain figures and just trying to,
He's doing the movies though, but
he's doing the movies, but there's a lot of comic characters. That
I
have-
would really like to see them go further back as far as characters to make, like to change up the body styles and whatnot. Maybe some Kirby-esque or something like that.
Well, I think it's smart to put out the action figures of older stuff too, because I mean, then you got the new customers coming in that likes the newer stuff, and they'll see
Yeah.
one of these awesome figures and be
Yeah.
like, "Man, what's that? I want to know more about it." So once
Yeah.
they go,
But
over
I
the
mean,
book-
he's trying to put comics out there as still a thing.
yeah,
Hey, about this figure. Hey, about this comic that's with it. I mean, that's almost an SOS, right? Like, comics are not doing that poorly.
well, manga's picked up a lot though. I think
Yeah.
they're trying to compete in that market now, where they was.
I wonder if that's really a thing.
I bet
Like
there
American
is.
market and Japanese market and other cultural.
Well, maybe I'm sure there's stats anyway.
Yeah.
You know who's making more.
Like,
who's
is this
selling
something we
more.
need to fight on?
No,
Really?
I wouldn't think so.
Do we need to fight? Why don't, you're fueling it all.
No, but you know how everybody are. You know, everybody's got to compete.
Yeah.
You know, some of us just can't let it be.
Oh, if you go into Books A Million, you'll notice that the manga section is actually bigger than the American comics section.
Yeah, I mean, he's got like an a whole wall and a half, and then and maybe a shelf on the other side.
Yeah.
And then you go and there's a little 6 foot long section of Marvel DC stuff all right there together. But you look over, I'm sure there's anime's on fire right now, and it's just,
But there are huge fan bases for the traditional DC characters
Yes,
and Marvel
there is.
characters
But
too.
you know, that
Spider-Man has a huge fan base, and Batman has a huge fan base, and Superman does, and it's not like these characters are overtaken by anime.
But on a lot of sense, I think a lot of it is
But
where.
that took like our whole generation.
But yeah, that's what
Our
I'm saying.
whole generation had like saw that coming in slowly,
Oh yeah,
and it's hit this high point now.
because
that's-
in our 20s
So you're
it
talking
started.
about 30 years.
Yeah, but think about it though, like Superman,
I mean,
Batman,
to
they've been
make an
around since the
impact,
40s.
A cultural impact is
30s,
30
so-
years.
I think American comic books has just been maybe worn out a little bit, and this is something new.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is, because I mean,
Well, I would wonder how many people are actually buying physical mangas.
well, I'll tell you right now, my daughter,
Or watching it.
Well, you can't watch mangas.
my daughter buys manga.
Yes, I know you read mangas.
Parker, he reads manga online. Yeah, he's in one of them websites where you can read.
Some of you see
It's like
30
a Sony
30
Jump
pillows,
kind of
too.
thing. Yeah, you can subscribe to it and read comic books. And him and Mahaley talk all this stuff about these stories. And I'm looking at him like, wow. I mean, that's a meaning of its own now. But yeah, there's people that buy a ton of mangas, and I think.
How often do you guys buy mangas?
I never do.
I never do either.
Why?
I mean, I got some. I guess a couple old
Why
Dragon
is
Ball
that?
ones.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I do.
Just time and money.
Well, that too. But I love regular old Marvel, DC
But I mean, like even
hard
in the
old
good old days,
comic. But even in the good old days, I'd rather watch
like
anime,
in that
manga.
late 80s, early
read
90s year,
a comic book
or
or watch
a
a
little
movie.
after that.
What?
I mean, I'm saying not even in times where maybe times were pretty decent
Oh well, that's it.
financially and whatnot.
Yeah, that too.
But
But there's
you didn't
nothing
then
really.
either.
I'll tell you what. I'd rather watch it on television
Mhm.
than I would go out and buy it myself.
Yeah.
Because I think visually that way it's more appealing, maybe. But as in actually getting in there and buying the mangas and reading them and everything, it's like
It's nothing that you
Well,
that you want
you-
to collect as well.
You would have to start. You'd have to, like Demon Slayer is something I may want to read one day. I would rather buy some collected volumes than
Yeah.
to just buy the individual volumes. Death Note's something I'd like to read
well,
one day, but
like you saying there, okay, I think like Death Note that would be a good read. I think,
yeah.
but the Akira. Now, see them old ones.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch
Yeah.
of
I've
lore
always
before
wanted a decent
actually
set of those.
get to the movie. So yeah, there's.
I've had like single issues of that over the
I
years.
got a couple. I got a couple
and
too.
it's
and-
always been like it's one of those things that's kind of like that's a lot of money to spend on that, and for some reason, and it's not. Is it a cultural thing? That pause? Do you feel any of that? Like, I'd rather buy these than I really like those, or it's just you're. Is that anything? It's nothing keeping you from pulling the trigger because you invest time in other things that you like more.
I just.
Or is that not where your collection's at?
It's just not where my collection's at. For
Yeah,
me.
I'm just not going to start. Like, I can subscribe to Crunchyroll and watch the animes. I'm
Yeah.
really taking my time with this Attack on Titan. Like, season 3 has nothing. I don't even know what's happened. It's like there's some weird time jump, and I'm all the way in season 3. I had to watch a recap of season 2. Well, I mean, it starts off at a completely different place.
But isn't it great how linear it is? How linear anime is compared to American comic books, where we have these weird divergence everywhere nowadays, just trying to keep interest. But how manga is more linear as far as a story
The
and
story, yeah.
following a character.
It's like a novel.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
usually, and one thing I really like about mangas and animes is that sometimes there's an end.
Right.
And you make a new character, you make a new story, and go on. Like, it keeps getting refreshed in more than here, where the domination is trying to keep what properties they still have in hand alive to make some money on. But it's like with mangas, I'm going to write a story, and it's going to have this overall arc. We'll stretch it out here and there if it gets better or something like
And
that.
it's and a
but
lot of
it ends eventually.
Yeah, and I think that's because a lot of that's different too. If you think about it,
And it's usually kind of
style of
artist driven that way.
Yeah, their style of storytelling and imagination on a lot of their stuff is very okay.
Yeah.
But then you also see a lot of repeats of different things you've seen before. I
Yeah,
think.
there's only a certain number of storylines
Right.
in the world that haven't been written.
I don't know how many times I've seen a character with the strings as a
Yeah.
weapon, or hiding in the shadows and
Yeah.
popping out.
Yeah, yeah. But that
or using the power of friendship to overcome
yeah, and
to overcome their
leadership.
enemies.
Yeah,
or
I need to put a leadership crystal in my chest.
some kind of rousing speech that gets
Yeah.
everyone fired up. Or
You got the touch.
But yeah, instead of, how do you end Batman? And why do you end Batman? And then what void of the world would be gone, and try to refill that? Like, you just say, okay, we're done with Batman. He has actually died doing what he did. He's gone. We're never going to publish another Batman. No reprints, nothing like it. We're not bringing him back. And there's just this big chasm of darkness because Batman's not there as far as what people buy and have on their shelves. And every time they see something cool as Batman, you're like, oh yeah. It's just the symbol goes away. They don't make the symbol no more. They don't do the silhouette. Nothing.
well, until people stop liking money, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
I mean,
that would
because
never happen.
he makes a lot of money.
He makes a ton of money.
He makes a ton of money, so that's never going to happen. I mean, I could see artistically.
But think of what the new
There would be
be.
businesses crumble
Well,
if Batman went away.
Some people have done that. Chris Nolan did it.
Yeah,
Chris Nolan ended it. He wrote
Yeah.
3 stories. His Batman is done.
yeah.
And he will never. I guarantee you, Chris Nolan will never make another Batman film.
No,
he's
there's no
done.
need for it.
So he told his story, and he made a lot of money off of it too.
Yep.
But he's an artist. He doesn't need Batman. As Oppenheimer showed, he can make a movie about a real life person, a historical epic, and make a lot of money. So he doesn't need that.
Okay.
But yeah, of course, the companies that own these properties want to continue to capitalize on it. Of course they are. I mean, just the Superman, Batman are institutions.
Mm-hmm.
The first issue of Superman, one of the rare surviving copies, went at auction for around over $1 million. $1 million. I mean, it's going to be a long time until any anime character becomes that iconic.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe if any of them
Not
was
even Pikachu or some
I was
shit
gonna
like
say-
that.
Goku or Pikachu.
I would
or-
think I would figure Dragon Ball Z will be kind of close now since
It's
They're
crossing a lot of lines now.
Toriyama just died. So
Pokemon is the millennials. That's like a religion to them. I mean, it's
yeah, because I seen where after I can never say his name, but Akira Toriyama died or whatever his name is. He their #1 Dragon Ball Z comic book. It was up on the top 10 hot comics of and like $100, $150 for a #1 copy of it.
Mhm.
Just like so that stuff is making its own waves up to
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
so I can see some of it, not all of it. Not like our our superheroes. I mean, for real, when's Superman come out? What year was that? 30?
54?
31.
I was gonna say, I thought it was in the 30s.
No, wait, 37. 1937.
Don't we have the internet here?
Yeah, was in the 30s, though.
Such comic fans we are.
I want to say Detective Comics, first Batman.
Yeah, Superman was before Batman.
Yeah, Action Comics was first.
Mm-hmm.
It's in 1937, isn't it?
I'm still typing. There we go. Action Comics number 27 and 38.
Oh, 1938.
So, just imagine having a book from 1938.
So, when would you say the peak of Superman was? Whenever he died?
Nah, not peak.
Like popularity in comic books.
Right. On comic books, I
Yeah.
would think Christopher Reeve.
Okay.
What would I mean?
What,
You really-
what I'm trying to do is do the math of the cultural impact of Superman. It's just like we talked about, like anime. We remember seeing it when we were young.
Right.
And to see the impact now is 30 years. So is Superman also a gauge to say Superman, his impact, was that 30 years? No, it's more like 50 years or 40 years.
Because when was the first?
If you're saying the 80s was like the high point.
Well, maybe early 90s then. When was the Batman movie?
Batman was 88.
All right, so in between that area right there then, because I think everybody got back on the bandwagon of liking comic books again after.
So Superman took probably 40 years as far as being a cultural.
Well, he was before
Or, no,
that.
he was
I mean,
way
he was before that, but
because there was TV series and all that.
Yeah, you
other
have the
stuff.
George Reeves TV show.
Right.
He was probably the
Yeah, that
first
was in the-
licensed
So that was a
superhero.
really
The
short,
60s.
short time of becoming like anybody could say Superman America knew what you were talking about. That's that
Well,
cultural
sure.
impact that I'm talking about. It's like saying somebody's Mike Tyson's name or something. It's a cultural impact.
But Mike Tyson, though, is very generation specific. They're young kids who have no idea who Mike Tyson is.
That's a possibility.
No, it's very true.
Well, now that
You go ask a Gen Zer
But-
who Mike Tyson is, and I'm not so sure that they would know.
but he's
I mean, you
going
have
to
to
get
think
in a
about it
match
that-
with that Jay Paul guy.
Yeah. He's
Well,
coming
then
up
they'll
too.
know. They'll
And
find out.
I bet more people know who Jay Paul is than
They'll
Mike
find
Tyson.
out
I know
who
what
he
you're
is
saying,
then.
though. Yeah,
But
but
Well,
yeah.
then that's been what, 20 years then?
What, since Mike Tyson?
Yeah,
It's been
cultural
more than
impact
that.
Been
was
more than that
like-
for sure.
it's probably been 30. Probably over 30. I was in high school
I was
when
a
Buster
kid.
Douglas upset him
I-
and knocked his ass out. There was Buster Douglas T-shirts
Right.
that somebody printed up.
Right.
And of course, Buster Douglas didn't hold the title very long at all. I want to say it was a very short reign.
But no one's made an impact like Mike, though, yet.
Well, no. People were paying tons of money to watch pay-per-views that didn't last any time at all because he would knock anyone out in the first round. So the people were losing a lot of money, but he was a phenomenon. And then the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was one of the first examples I could remember
On the Nintendo.
of an athlete crossing over into a video game, into a media. Yeah, Tyson was a hype machine. That's why when Buster Douglas had the night of his life and lucked out, and not taking away anything from Buster Douglas, but he was not the level of guy Tyson was. But Gen Z doesn't know any of that. They weren't alive for decades. You know.
So it's not a super cultural impact.
Superman.
It's a,
Gen Z still knows who Superman is,
Right.
though.
But that's what
They know him because of Henry Cavill.
yeah.
He keeps coming back.
Right.
He's never really
I mean,
left
there's
since
there's
1930.
Smallville. There's the new.
So again, why do we have to keep those?
There's a
alive?
CW show.
Because
Well, you don't have to,
you
but
don't
someone
have to.
chooses to because they
think,
make
yeah.
money off of it.
And they know there's a big enough money coming in to say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm going to keep this thing out as long as I can milk
And a
it."
lot of people just genuinely love the character and they
Well,
want to.
because of
It's
that
not
reason
all
right
about
there,
money.
right,
A
yeah.
lot of it is about money. But I mean, there's people that just genuinely love Superman. They want
Right.
to read.
Yeah.
Look at Jerry Seinfeld. He's
Right,
such a
right.
huge Superman advocate, even through all that series.
Yep.
Every episode you'd see something, and mention him. He even listened to an interview with him. He's in town. I think last night he was in town down at the Louisville Palace. But yeah, Superman is part of American culture at this point. And he wouldn't have been. Like Mike Tyson had a finite run because he's a human being.
Right.
And he cannot endure forever.
So, yeah, fiction lasts, yes.
Fiction lasts. Santa
We're
Claus
still telling
lasts.
stories.
Santa Claus lasts, and everyone knows who Santa Claus is.
Right.
Hello, y'all.
And he's not going anywhere.
He's at my house anyway.
Exactly. Not all fiction lasts. A lot of things do die off.
Yeah, a lot of things do that.
No,
And a lot of things should die off.
if you can't keep it updated, it will die off. Look at things that some of our parents enjoyed. Things like Howdy Doody, or Roy Rogers. Well, Roy Rogers is
what
a person.
about the Three Stooges?
The Stooges have endured.
That's what I'm saying.
They've all been
I think
some
it's-
things
it's-
have
it's-
But
it
not
is
to,
going-
not to the degree of Superman.
no,
not
no.
even close.
No.
I think a lot of Gen Z would have no idea who the Stooges are. The Stooges.
Yeah, it would probably almost die out with us.
They.
And
For us to keep
see,
them
now that you
alive
said
in
that, I'm
some
trying to
way.
think if my kids has ever seen the Stooges. I
Well,
know
they're
they know
on-
who they are because I have books, and I even had like a little statue at one time that Dad gave me. But yeah,
Well, they're
Other
on the
than
retro
that-
channel. Like MeTV will show them
Yeah.
every Saturday night.
Right.
I watch it once in a while. It's still funny.
yeah, I used to
It's
get
actually a
together.
little funnier than you would expect.
Yeah, I still get.
They're all
Three
long
Stooges.
dead. Their descendants will keep it going. There will always be niche fans of
I
something
was
like
always
that.
more of a Laurel and Hardy fan than Stooges.
But I did too. One of my favorite movies growing up as a kid was Laurel and Hardy Meet the Wolfman,
I don't remember that.
There's
at
no
all.
such movie.
or the Frankenstein
Cos-
monster, or something.
That's Abbott and Costello.
Well, then,
Costello.
guys, sorry, I got him backwards.
Oh
but
yeah.
yes,
I don't know. Maybe I was like more Laurel
Wolfman
Hardy.
is in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Okay, well then that's
Yeah.
what it
He's
is.
in it, okay.
I remember that when I was a kid.
I want to see Laurel and Hardy meet the Wolfman. That sounds
Was
amazing.
that the only 3? Well, there was like the Marx Brothers. That was predates them, and then
Who was? Yeah.
What do you mean, the only comedy
was the-
teams?
yeah.
Well, of course there were more.
All right,
we
who's
just don't
on
know
first?
them.
Yeah.
They've
Who
died
was that?
out. They're.
Well, I mean, what do you remember?
I don't remember any of those.
I don't remember watching many of the Marx
they were
Brothers.
dead before you were born.
Right. I remember watching like Laurel and Hardy. I've watched Abbott and Costello, and sometimes the Stooges, and then
I saw the Stooges and Laurel and Hardy on Scooby Doo and had no idea who they were before
Yeah.
that.
Oh, they was on Scooby
They
Doo,
were
weren't they?
both on Scooby Doo. That's
Yes,
the only
they
reason
was.
I knew who Laurel and Hardy were.
And Mama Cass.
I didn't know who she was. I didn't know who any of those
I
people
knew
were.
who she was.
Sandy Duncan, Cher,
and Jerry Reed,
We've
I knew
talked
who he
about this
was.
before. I didn't know any of those people except Speed Buggy. When they showed up on Scooby, I think the Harlem Globetrotters. I didn't really know
Jabberjaw.
who they were.
Did he? show up
Jabberjaw
on-
didn't show up on
He
Scooby.
didn't. Or he didn't.
Not till the recent years he did. All those
Wasn't
people.
wacky races.
Don, no, he wasn't in Wacky Races. He was in Laugh Olympics. Don Knotts. I think I knew him from Three's
Don
Company.
Knotts, yes, he
what
was
was
a
the
comedian.
storyline with Don Knotts and Scooby Doo?
I think
And,
he was a deputy,
what was
wasn't
the
he?
other-
I want to say he was kind of like a Barney Fife.
Oh, the one guy, the chubby guy.
Jonathan Winters.
Yes,
He was on,
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That was it. Jonathan Winters. He was
Yeah.
on there a couple times.
yeah. Mama Cass and Sonny and Cher.
And Sonny Sheriff, yes.
Um,
But they was keeping it alive though, weren't they?
but back to the comedians, the
Yeah.
dead comedians. The Stooges are still profitable to somebody. Their heirs are still making money off them.
Yes.
There's still some merchandise being sold.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a place for them at FYE.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, they get their own little,
but some
Three
things
Stooges.
will completely.
along with the Greatest American Hero.
What's like the okay, like my Universal Monsters. Now, I enjoyed those movies when I was 18 years old, and I saw the covers of those tapes. I loved horror movies. I thought these movies looked awesome. They were from the early 30s, and I was watching them in the 90s. I was 1990. That put me about 16 years old. And so all those guys were dead. At that point, Lugosi was dead. Karloff, Cheney died in 1973. So these guys were all long dead. And I was just a young person who found the tapes and said, this looks awesome. I want to watch this. And I love them. And I still have. And there's still young kids out there who love horror and see those movies and stream them and say, okay, I kind of dig this. So they will stay alive in that regard. And they just look cool. And so they sell the merchandise, Halloween, you slap those monsters on. Even if you've never seen a movie, you know.
That is cultural impact.
You know who they are.
That
you know
sticks.
it's Dracula.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you
they
know.
still sell them in stores. I mean,
Yeah.
Mecca does all the.
There's a
We've opened
holiday
them up.
that helps so much for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, they get a lot of help with Halloween. And
I mean, once you got a holiday attached to your cultural impact,
That time
that's cultural.
It's our
impact.
Christmas.
Yeah, you can hook your teeth into that. Yeah.
Your vampire teeth.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess it's hard to think that some things that you love may just completely be forgotten at some point.
Yeah.
I look at all the more modern horror franchises, how popular they all are. You go to the mall and you just can't.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
That back when in the late 80s and 90s, you just didn't go in the mall and see Freddy and Jason and Michael and Chucky everywhere. And there hasn't been any new Friday the 13th content in years, or Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, Freddy and Jason are everywhere. Chucky's been very consistent. They have Gen Z definitely knows Chucky because they have kept the show. He's got a show now. They've kept making movies. It's very relevant to them.
Kind of stays on top a little. I mean, not
Evil
on top.
Dead. Well, they just had a film out in
They had a
theaters.
film out, a couple
Scream
years
is
ago.
Scream has
They had
stayed
that TV show.
going. Yeah, the Evil Dead. Evil Dead's certainly
In
stayed up.
Ash. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, and Chucky has stayed topically relevant. I mean, there's lots of socially relevant issues in the show. You've got lots of gay characters on the show. You've got so Gen Z, I think, reacts to all of that.
Yeah, 'cause
But
that's-
yeah, some of these guys just haven't been around in a long time. Jason and Freddy, especially. But they still sell tons of merchandise.
Mhm.
Everyone knows who you are. I mean, you see the hockey mask, and was it that one interviewer I saw? Jamie Lee Curtis was being interviewed, and this like doofus interviewer was just asking her like, yeah, it's just that scene where you get chased around with the guy in the hockey mask, and she's just giving him this blank look, and she hates horror films. Like, she's kind of annoying about it, really, because she's very dismissive of the genre that's made her rich. But
She was milking the cow in that last movie, though. I've seen her doing all kinds of press for that one.
Maybe that was a contract signing. It's like,
well,
I'm out.
she claims
Don't
she
ever
doesn't.
ask me to do this again.
She claims she doesn't even watch them. She doesn't watch her own movies. She doesn't watch other horror movies. I mean, obviously, she's make the film. She knows Michael Myers. She knows that story. But no, she says she doesn't watch any other horror films.
Well,
But,
thinking about it, now that you said that, I don't think I've seen her in any other horror movie other than them.
well, you probably won't.
She's been in comedians or
That-
comedies. I mean, or
That film that won Best Picture a few years ago is a horror of a different kind. That movie was terrible. Everything louder than everything else, or that's a Meatloaf song. That's not at all what I was thinking of.
I was like,
huh?
it sounds familiar, but I'm trying.
Everything all at once, everywhere.
Yes.
What is it called? Look it up.
Everything all at once.
Is that what it's
Everything
called?
Everywhere
all at once.
Yes.
Oh,
okay, that's what it's called. Terrible. I couldn't.
I still have not watched
I
it.
couldn't
I
sit-
bought a copy of it, and I still haven't
Oh,
watched it yet.
you lost your money on that. You go buy some. You're better off with some Three Stooges than find that.
I can't wait to watch it now because
that
I
and
want to
Matt-
see why you hated it.
Oh, if you can get through
All right,
it,
was
I could.
what was
I
that
could.
Danzig movie I was talking about for a while?
Oh,
Is
I
it
would
better
watch.
than that?
I would watch Verotica.
Did you
20
ever watch it?
Yes, I watched it. I
God,
love
it's so terrible.
It's pretty bad. The last part was the worst because
Yes.
it was the Elizabeth Bathory stuff,
God.
which is mostly fictional. Actually, I listened to some serial killers podcast about Elizabeth Bathory, and a whole lot of that was
It's a form of torture. It's like I'd rather be waterboarded.
well, it was just that. Okay, the first part was the chick with the eyeball titties. Then there was the
and that
spider
crying
killer.
spider.
I've heard y'all talking about this movie before.
The spider-
and I couldn't do nothing
the
but
spider
laugh, so
killer.
I'm eventually
Yeah.
going to bust down.
And then the last part was the Elizabeth Bathory.
I was extremely unhappy that I couldn't watch it with you guys because right then and there, that would have been fantastic.
And we still haven't seen
For
this-
you know how people ask you, "Hey, what movie would you want to watch for the very first time?" I would
Over
say
again.
that, and I was like, I gotta set it up.
Well, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a podcast.
No,
where
but
I'm
I have to
watching this
pretend.
movie,
He has to pretend we hadn't seen
But
it.
I ain't never seen it.
It's been years
so
since.
y'all can
It's been a while.
be with me while I watch it.
We
for
could
the
still
first
do it with
time.
Madam Web. I
Okay.
have the DVD
Alright.
of Madam
I mean, I
Web.
gotta-
Oh yeah, all right. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We
we
can
have
still-
to bring Helly
we can watch
on
Madam
that
Web.
one
What are we
'cause she
doing
wants
tonight? Oh yeah, we're going to a concert.
Yes.
We're going to go rock and roll tonight.
But
Yeah, we can do.
and we never
watching-
saw his second one. Yeah,
Oh, with the vampires and
what was it
West?
called? Death Rider and the
Yeah,
Is that the one with what's his face in it?
Danny
Machete?
Trejo's in it.
yeah
I think.
Trejo's in it.
And Dancing's in it, isn't he?
Danzig plays Death Rider, I guess.
Okay.
Rider and the
It
House
looks
of
like-
Vampires or something like that.
It doesn't look as bad, but it looks like the start of a bad porno. You know, and they're like,
Wow,
"Wow,
wow,
there's a lot of storyline to this."
That's what the third part of Veronica was
Yes.
so bad because
Yes. Oh
It-
yeah, you could cut sex scenes in between
It
the
had-
amount of footage he has on this stuff.
but it had no protagonist. The whole thing was just Elizabeth Bathory murdering virgins and swimming in their blood. There was no one. There was no story.
It's
Like,
just
there was no-
mayhem.
She was the antagonist, but there was no protagonist to stop her. Didn't it just end with her just
Yeah, just
It-
looking in the mirror, going,
just wiping blood all
Day in
over
the
her?
life.
She's smearing her breast with blood, and
yeah, we'll do a
With
watch
eyeballs.
along.
Yeah,
We'll do
No.
a watch along.
she didn't have eyeballs.
Oh, she didn't have eyeballs on her.
That was the first girl.
Oh yeah, it's many stories then, right?
She's giving some guy head, and he's enjoying that, and then he wants.
It sounds like the comic books he made out for all these.
Yep.
I got a couple of them, and that's what
We
they all
probably
are.
got him from that Danzig concert back in '94. He was remember he was
If you
selling
dig
those comics
out,
there.
We will put them on.
Okay,
the
I'll do that then.
podcast.
Yeah, you got to find those.
I know where they're at.
We
I know exactly
probably-
where they're at. All right,
I think I bought them at the show.
Get cooking.
all right, I'm cooking.
I bought that shirt that Sunshine took because it had the girl
She got
in
my
the.
Pantera shirt too. I'm mad about that.
It had that girl in the metal S&M gear or something.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Well, I was buying shirts that were larger back then, like extra large.
And she went and borrowed it.
She
and
went and
never-
borrowed it.
and never returned it. Yeah.
Well, I was kind of didn't
no, it didn't fit the same anyway.
didn't quite fit the same afterwards, so it was just like, well, I guess this is yours.
That's all
I
right.
mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure that is a common story with a lot of nerds, or just life itself.
That's your
That's yours.
Man,
that's
you know how
your
many cool T-shirts
that's your
I've lost
fem-
like that?
that's your female roommate took your S&M Danzig shirt and stretched it out as a common story.
Has this ever happened to you? Please write in the comments.
Yeah,
We'd love to
wanna
hear
hear
this
your story.
We'll put it on air.
yeah.
That doesn't happen to most people. But
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Leave
yeah.
comments in the
Yeah.
bottom, please.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just bite my arm off. I don't need my arm anymore. You can have it.
There you go.
Danzig will have cultural relevance for many years.
Yeah. Yep. Help inspire and bring back.
Well, I saw some Misfits shirts in Kohl's the other day.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Weird.
surprising.
That's culture impact.
There was
Yeah, well, I
Misfits
mean, yeah.
next to Attack on Titan. They had Hunter x Hunter. They had
We went to the Bogards and seen Misfits,
yeah,
and it was the
and
it was
Guar.
Graves, wasn't it? Was
Yeah,
he
we
the
saw
singer?
Michael Graves.
And
Some of that footage is online. It's fantastic.
I bought a shirt that night, and I still got that thing.
Is it the one with the
The little
blue logo?
yeah, they had the blue logo, and it had the girl underneath it with a big X cut out of her chest.
Yes. Okay, I'm glad you still have that. You remember how it started with the Crimson Ghost came on stage with the torch, and he was in his red robe and was running around, and they showed a little movie. And I was getting so excited watching the movie because they were showing clips. They started with the Universal Monsters, and then they were progressing up and through the 70s and the 80s. I remember it was Stormtroopers, and then we saw Jason and Freddy and Michael and everybody. And Pinhead.
Sometimes I really envy you, Brad.
We were, why, that I can remember this odd moment.
I mean, you are describing like, I wish I was there.
That was a cool show, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably still.
Well,
wouldn't
we
have went then,
always
but
invited you, but you was not the concert goer. So
No.
it makes me sad. Anyways, continue. It was your great story. I love it, though.
But yeah, they've
I
gone through
think-
the
yeah.
generations, though. Yeah.
And then we met Jerry only in the streets afterwards. It was cold outside.
I remember that was the fun part because we was just walking around the city down there.
Yeah, Vine Street.
Yeah, and it was just like it was
That's
like
probably
late
the
at
night we went
and
into Sudsy Malone's.
we went to that before, didn't we?
Yeah, Sudsy's before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to some little shops afterwards.
Yeah. Cause
And I think I found like a,
I remember we was walking around the city down there, and it was just like it was a bunch of us down there, and I was just like, man, this is fucking cool. We're in a
I guess I
strange
had that
city,
jack-o'-lantern. I had
just
him and
misfits.
him and Sean Yusult signed that jack-o'-lantern.
That's awesome.
That's right. Oh, see, I forgot about that until you just
Yeah.
said that.
Have you ever? You still have it, right?
No, it was
Oh.
lost over the years.
You ever
somehow.
thought about looking it up and see if it exists out there in the world?
There's no way to tell.
It'd be amazing, but I doubt it. I bet that thing is somewhere gone.
Yeah, I bet it was thrown out somewhere years ago.
But that would be a cool find for some
Do
garbage
you
man. It's like,
have any
hey,
of
I know
those?
whose autograph that is.
Do you all have any of those? I sold it. I wish I never sold it.
Let me think about that, because I'm sure that's a yes.
That pumpkin, probably, yeah. I'd say I wish I'd never would have sold it.
Did you get plenty out of it?
Probably not. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
At the time, it may have seemed like a lot.
I wish we never sold the Beatmaster.
The what? Beat
The
Mistress?
Beat-
Oh, Beat Mistress, that's what it was. She autographed that.
I have to look up and see if it's out there.
You
The-
remember it, Brad?
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
we're
I
talking
met
about?
her.
Yeah.
She,
And Jason, didn't you forge her?
well, yeah,
Yeah,
the Goth
forged the
Mistress and I
signature.
went to Bogart's, and we saw My Life with Thrill Kill Cult, and the opener was the Beat Mistress.
Beat Mistress.
And she said, I will be at my booth, signing autographs. I'm selling these records.
I didn't get to go to that one.
So I had to
That
go
one
up
was
there
fun.
and get one. And then we were having the yard sale, and you had put an exorbitant price on your paintings.
Mm.
I think you had put $10,000 on one painting.
Because you didn't want to sell it.
I think I put like 500.
Oh, it was something crazier than that.
Yeah,
Was it only 500?
maybe.
can't
Well, we were
remember.
still
I
in
remember I sold my PlayStation and all my games that day.
we
no,
were,
no, not PlayStation. I'm sorry, Nintendo.
we were in Fairdale. 500 may as well have been 10,000. Nobody was going to stop
Well,
at
it
a
was
yard
funny because
sale.
I sat right at the edge of the guardrail, and that was that tight corner there, and people just running around real fast all the time. And I was sitting there with the piece of art, and people like, they'd slow down real quick, and then they'd take back off.
Nobody cared about that. I
They
remember
were like,
Angie.
what the fuck?
Angie was just like, was it Angie? I
don't
forget
know.
who you were with at the time, but it was.
Oh, well, before we left,
No, it would have been Riot or
Nicole.
Oh, it was Nicole. I just remember her out there saying, "I'm selling all my stuff," and she had all these Tommy Hilfiger shirts
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
people
right.
were just like, "Yeah." She had a bunch of preppy shirts, and
Preppy shirts.
But Angie showed up that day. I remember that. That's kind of funny.
Really?
Yeah, because Nicole was there.
That's like
And
I only
Angie
got
showed up,
very
yeah.
few snippets of that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and wasn't I playing the South Park CD
yeah, I think so.
really loud through the windows?
Yeah.
Well, we
Lane
had
Canada.
we had the stereo. We had a stereo that we were selling as well, and we had it plugged in through my bedroom window. And I think we were playing music off of
I was
that.
playing the Kyle's Mom's a Big Fat Bitch.
Yeah.
Why is it that adult sitcoms, I don't find them funny anymore? Are they still funny? Are they good? I don't know.
I don't know what's on.
There's all kinds of new ones.
I don't.
Fox still has a whole animation domination
Yeah.
weekend. So The Simpsons and Bob's Burgers
How much Simpsons?
and Family Guy still exist, and South Park still exist.
Right.
South Park was pretty funny with the Kathleen Kennedy Panderverse
And you.
thing. But there's all these other ones, and I'll try to watch them for a few minutes, and it just doesn't.
No,
I don't think any of them have made a cultural impact since Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers,
And that one's okay. I don't.
but it's popular though.
yeah, it is popular.
Yeah. I don't.
think
I don't
the-
mind it, but I don't keep up with it.
I think the kids are what keeps that one popular. That one.
I think the
little girl.
mother's funny. I think it's fairly funny. I think it's
Yes.
well written, but it's the most recent one I can think of.
I remember. What is the one? King of the Hill. That one, after a while, got on my nerves. I couldn't stand that one.
Yeah.
See, I'm surprised they haven't brought it back because they bring everything back.
But no, they can keep that one going. I think
Yeah,
they're trying to
didn't they
bring
try to bring-
Beavis and Butthead back as a show like that.
Well, they
Yeah.
did.
Did they? Well, I was gonna say I thought I seen previews of something they looked like they was trying, but I know they came out that one movie after all them years. What was that?
I haven't watched it.
I
The
have
new Beavis
actually.
and
It's really
Butthead.
funny. Yeah, they're in the space program
So
somehow.
that'll die out with us.
What, Beavis and Butthead?
Yeah.
You think so?
Well, they've kind of brought
Like,
it
I
back.
don't think so.
It'll
'cause
be-
Austin,
It'll be like that
Logan likes Beavis and
generation.
Butthead.
It'll just be around just a little bit longer after we're mostly gone.
So that would be like a what you think? Like a Howdy Doody then? Because I know Dad said
Yeah.
at one time
I
Howdy
mean,
Doody
yeah.
was really big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Roy Rogers. No,
Yeah.
Roy Rogers ain't
Mhm.
nothing now.
Oh, my mom grew up in the age of watching Howdy Doody.
Yep.
Mhm.
Right.
My mama-
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yep.
saying.
He was a
but
TV
that
puppet.
didn't carry on, is what he's saying.
No, it has.
Yeah.
Besides people that grew up watching it who have memories of it, I don't think it has a fan base at all.
Yeah.
And so
Unless
once
you're from that generation.
Unless you're from that time.
Yeah.
so once those people die,
That would probably be
will
something
anyone
lost
care
media,
about
like-
that stuff?
Right. So anything left over other than some kind of museum, even then, I mean, what?
Well, a museum, because of the historical nature of it,
Yeah.
would, like if you had like the actual puppet, I guess
Right.
he should be in a museum. It does represent a time, but just the general merchandise, what to
Now-
me just won't be very sought after.
Now,
and
I think-
demand is what makes prices go up.
I think something like that that's kind of. I think that might go on a little bit longer than it's been going on for years now is the Wizard of Oz.
Mm.
I think
Wizard of
that.
Oz is huge.
I know
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, and every generation catches on to it.
Yes,
I think that's
and it's
and, well, they got that new movie coming out. I think here soon,
Well, it's
Wicked. After that play,
yeah. Oh yeah, Wizard of Oz is the same as Superman. It's going to keep going.
Yeah.
Universal Monsters, Superman, Wizard of Oz, Batman, all these things will keep going.
I think that's kind of a neat feat because for when the time that movie came out and it's still being so, kind of still relevant.
You'll
after all
have
these
you'll
years.
have you'll have Gen Z people who will claim that this Wicked movie is better than the original film.
Well, why wouldn't it be? Technologically, it would.
Well, that's all subjective. Whether I mean it's all subjective.
But it's because the Grande's in it. Ariana, I can never say
you
her
say
name.
Oriental Grande?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Is that new from Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Well,
You get it with the sauce. It's awesome.
if she's supposed to look like the witch from the
Yeah, she's supposed to be.
well, she doesn't look anything like
Linda,
the witch.
the good witch.
I
Looks like she's cross-eyed half the time.
no. And then the actress playing the Wicked Witch doesn't look anything. Neither
No.
one of them look anything like the Judy Garland film. I guess it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to see it anyway. I don't care.
Well, I'm surprised they haven't started complaining about it being, the bad guy winds up being black.
No, what I seen, I can't make heads or tails of it, but what I seemed to kind of catch on about it, I think they're portraying the witch as the good guy in this.
Yeah.
That's
Things
what it
go
kind of
horribly
looks like
wrong
to me. And I was
yeah.
like, well, how does that kind of fit in with the old movie?
Well, this is all based off a musical.
Musical anyway. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you would
so-
think they want to kind of keep it relevant with
Well,
what
I'm telling
think you know.
I'm guessing a large portion of people that go to see the movie have never seen the original film. A lot of them have. A lot of them have not, because it's too old for them. They're going to say, back when I was saying I was 16 and watching The Wolfman from 1941 in 1991. It was 50 years old. I was probably one of the only kids at Doss High School who would go home and watch a 50-year-old movie on tape. There weren't many people doing it.
Yeah.
So I do understand why they think something that old has no value. I think they're wrong, because it's really fascinating to watch old Hollywood and how it worked. If you're obsessed with diversity,
But see,
and
a lot of that may not come until later on, though. There may be something else triggers you to want to get into that. So, saying it now, there's a lot of things that I was not into that's been around that I'm more into now than I was.
Well,
then.
sure, they could.
Well, it's like you
So-
said, like we were talking about earlier. Yeah, some things kind of grow on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much.
Sometimes you
and
don't get
your-
it the first couple times around.
Donnie, your collection influences me just like Brad's collection influences me. And so we have all these influence and stuff, so you can't help but to be brought into what else is out there. And I didn't care then. I care now. Whatever that is, whatever triggers that, however you get there. So anybody, and it'd be like, you might have talked about it, and then they just like, I don't care. And then 20 years, he'll know somebody that's dear to him and be like, hey, these monsters. He's like, I know a guy did this, and he could become a collector. But you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that's why some of it's being sought out, the fact that there's not a lot of it, because it has died off in places. Like it didn't get renewed often enough. So there's just traces of the history of it behind that we are interested in nowadays.
Yeah, like certain cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Like my friend in New Jersey, he works for the schools, was talking about it. He said his nephews, he didn't feel they had any idea who Bugs Bunny was. He said, I'm sure that they don't.
Right.
He said they know Pokemon, and they know some things like that, but they do not know who Bugs Bunny is.
But you could ask another kid named Mike.
I don't know.
I'm sitting there trying to think if my kids would know who Bugs Bunny is. I think maybe they would know.
You don't think Haley would know who Bugs Bunny was?
No, because Haley didn't really get
Didn't
into
they-
them kind of
they
cartoons.
didn't even see, like,
none
the-
of them
that's-
did really.
Should this be a card game?
Didn't they just redo Space Jam? Didn't they just...
Oh well, maybe yeah,
Redo
they would know
Space
from
Jam?
Space Jam, maybe. Okay,
But see,
yeah.
that's a way for them to keep it going. Let's
But
not
they
let
didn't
the
know
IP
Bugs Bunny
die
like we
off.
knew Bugs Bunny. I don't think they sat and watched the old, Bugs Bunny dressing up as a girl,
They
or
tried to do a new batch of cartoons on HBO.
and what a Bugs Bunny.
Yep,
Well, they
On
did
HBO?
do 'em.
they did, but it was like,
I know they did
you know,
come
all
out.
the things they did with like shooting and drinking and everything else like they do in the older shows.
Yeah.
They took up like
They're so freaking violent. And that's what-
they're not violent anymore. Now they
No.
just got like sticks of dynamite. They're not using guns. And I'm like,
Well,
it's
how are sticks of dynamite?
Well, I remember when they
Sticks of
started
Dynamite aren't
censoring
violent?
the ones
Yeah.
that we watched when we was kids.
Yeah.
I remember when we was kids, there was no hose bars. They had everything, guns, and Daffy Duck blowing his face sideways and
Yeah.
all that. And then I remember when you come to that scene and you know it's going to happen, and then they skip. And I was like, well, Jose, you just missed the whole spot there. And I was like, and that's when you realize, someone's censoring these now.
Was that new Me TV?
MeTV is my favorite channel.
Is that going to be a separate channel? When they do
Yes,
cartoons
it's going
or
to be a
something?
separate channel.
And is that like at nights or different times, or it's just going to be?
I guess it'd be
channel?
24 hours a day.
So it's the new boomerang.
And I think that they had some of
Yeah,
the old WB.
it is going to be the new Boomerang.
Yeah, and I think they were.
Because
they were going to have the
MeTV
Warner Brother Merry Melody stuff on there too.
they have got the rights to everything. And I'll tell you that whoever does this channel is so smart because they are the ones who listen to people. I like when they listen to fans. And fans were kept saying for years, give us Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't.
Instead of fucking showing us Hazel or whatever the fuck you're showing at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning, let's have some Looney Tunes and some
Yeah.
Woody Woodpecker and all that stuff. And they have done that. They show Tune In With Me. It's every day now. In the mornings, you get classic cartoons. I was watching Chilly Willy earlier. And it's so fucking violent.
Oh yeah.
The episode was just there was a lighthouse keeper. Who's this dog? This dog's a lighthouse keeper, and Chilly Willy is getting ready to sleep for 6 months until the sun comes up in summer because he lives in Antarctica, which isn't scientifically accurate, but it's okay. So he's gotten to bed in his igloo and he's going to go to sleep, and the lighthouse keeper turns on the light, and it comes right through his igloo and it disturbs him. So he gets up and he pushes the igloo over thinking that'll work. It doesn't work.
No, he follows them.
And then he
Right.
pulls the shades down and the light comes through the
Sneaking
shades.
through, yeah.
That doesn't work either. So he gets up, gets his shoes on, goes to the lighthouse, and he turns it off. And he goes back home, gets into bed. The lighthouse keeper turns the light back on. So Chilly is not happy at all. He's ready to go to bed, so he goes back, gets this big axe out of somewhere, starts smashing the light bulb. And it goes back and forth with the dog replacing the bulb. So Chilly just goes psycho at some point. Goes into the storeroom, smashes all the light bulbs with his axe. And then he throws the lighthouse keeper into some kind of chamber and activates something which turns the lighthouse into a rocket and shoots the poor dog out into the moon.
Oh, he was getting rid of everybody.
And then
He's
Chilly
mad with
Willy
his life.
goes back to his igloo, takes his nap. 6 months later, the alarm clock goes off. It's summer, and he smashes the alarm clock.
He just didn't want to be woke up.
He
at
didn't
all.
want to. He was done. And I thought that's funny. It's not preachy or woke, and
Chilly Willy was the common man.
it was super violent. I don't think they would do it today.
But it was funny though.
It was funny.
Right, and that's what got your attention. It wasn't that it was violent. It was that it was funny.
Yeah.
But
And you watch the old Looney Tunes. There's
it takes one kid to do
characters
something wrong
smoking
and
and
ruin it
drinking
for everybody.
jugs with X's labeled on them. He always knew what that meant. I didn't know what
Yeah,
it meant.
I knew what it meant.
You saw the jug with the X's on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that was alcohol.
Yeah, Bugs is
Yeah.
in drag, seducing Elmer Fudd into some situation.
Yeah.
Or sounds like Scooby and Shaggy would pretend they were like a woman taking her dress off and shriek when some monster comes around the corner. It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to walk in on you."
And Scooby's like, whoa, no,
Oh no! All that stuff's just funny. But now I don't know. They take it. They want to make it like that Velma show. Just everything has to be vulgar and everything
yeah.
has to be
Oh, yeah.
hypersexual.
They got a second
and,
season. I ain't
yeah,
watched the first
just
one. thank God,
disgusting. It's terrible.
I
But
don't.
I've
I
seen
wish.
they got a second season. I don't know how.
These people clearly they don't give a shit about the IP. They just want to shit all over it.
Well, they thought they would push it forward enough.
It's nobody wants that. Absolutely nobody wants that. I can't even
But
watch
they
The
made a
Office.
second season though.
They were contracted somehow to make a second season. It was, I'm sure it was because it was not due to fan response.
Well, you think you'll lose money unless they already had it made.
I can't even watch The Office anymore. She pissed me off to that point. That Mindy Kaling that I will not support any of her things anymore. It's not the way to keep a franchise going. By taking out the titular character and making all the side characters like reprehensible. And then of course I heard that they had Scrappy come in and like Scrappy was a villain and killed her, and then she comes back as a ghost and kills him, and that's how it ends. It's like, well, you know what? They've already done the Scrappy as the villain thing.
Yeah, he was
That was in the live action Scooby movie. So you're 20 years too late on that twist. We've already seen that. Scrappy was, if Scrappy killed her, that he's the hero that I always knew he was, because I always liked Scrappy Doo.
I always liked
I
Scrappy
never
too.
got all the Scrappy Doo hate.
Yeah, I always thought that was weird. Why is Scrappy getting hate
But then
for
again,
it?
I was a little kid.
I didn't like Scrappy.
I was a
You didn't
little
like
kid
Scrappy? I
when
liked Scrappy.
he was inserted,
Puppy
Yeah.
power.
put into the show to give it a boost. Shake things up.
And what was the cousin?
Scooby Dum.
Scooby. Yeah, that was it.
He was, he's pretty obscure.
Yeah, but I remember him.
Yeah.
Just
there was
now
the-
remembered him actually.
There was the girlfriend, Scooby D.
Yeah, there was the. Was she blonde?
She was a white dog.
You know how much dog shit you'd have to clean up? If I had Marmaduke size burp, burp, burp just going all the time. That van would be a bunch of hobo bindle sacks full of dog turds in the back of the van.
No. Shaggy, clean that up. But yeah, I think a lot of this stuff, newer stuff, you think a lot of that is going to last, or just certain genres, like like a Superman or a Batman or
As
Wizard of
long
Oz or
as, and then they're going to have to continue to update these characters in some way to meet with the times, and eventually they'll be almost unrecognizable, probably. However their evolution is supposed to be, or how society paints them. We've done this to all the characters. We've started finally doing that, changing the characters up. However we can. So these characters are evolving. Maybe the hows and whys they got there may be a little wonky nowadays, but
they're still out there.
If you could
Right.
flash forward to 500 years from now to see what those characters are like, you'd be like, I would have never thought they would have done this with them. you know?
Well, that's funny you say that because I've heard Dad say that before.
Yeah.
He's like, I never
Right.
real thought about
Right.
it being like this nowadays. you
Yeah,
know.
these issues, the comics that came out, problems started in the same issue and solved in the same issue. And ads. And then you get another book and it does the same thing for the longest time. Now we got these
Now we're
long
drawing out
going
stories.
storylines
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Making these characters doing 10 times the labor that they've done in history.
So, what would you say is your favorite era of comic books? Would you say your 80s, your 90s, or your today?
I really kind of like now because I like going back some and buying old stuff from time to time. I love seeing all the new artwork and types of stories that are coming out. There's some really fresh fiction that's out there that's being uncovered. And they're making stories like anime. They go for a little while and then they're done. And these creators are going to make another series on top of something else. You see that a lot with the independents. So they are doing the manga model. Like, you get the artist team together, let's tell
like
a
one and
story,
done, you're right.
you know? And maybe there's some... I had no idea how big Something's Killing Children...
Oh yeah, I keep
That's
hearing about
got a
that.
huge market, and that's new as shit. And there's like offshoot issues and more storylines on other characters. It's massive. I'm like, shit, I'm just barely scratching the surface on this. And that's like, maybe I'll just kind of stick right here and try to do some more research. But there's newer stuff that's...
Yeah, I keep seeing a lot about that.
And because comics are still a subculture, and it's still treated that way, it splits and splits a little bit more, gets a little weirder, or more divergent, where the old guys are like us, holding on to some of what we remember, and then dabbling in the other stuff. And those people, those newer collectors are dabbling in that, and then maybe dabbling in what we're into. So you hope there's an exchange of ideas and love for this stuff to keep it going. So... just
Yeah, 'cause-
certain things just stick around, and certain things just don't. But do you have anything like that nobody else liked it, but you loved, and you can't find collecting shit on it? Like, I really wish I could find this or find that. Is there something that you collect that is
Well-
sub level
I think.
that nobody else really collects?
Let's see. I don't think about that.
Brad.
Yeah, Brad would be. He likes more off the wall kind of stuff like that. I'm more basic myself. I feel like anyway. I like the mainstream guys, but Brad, he definitely likes some.
But is there something that
And you do too, though. Now that I think
well,
about
that's
it.
not just the weirdness, but like,
But-
is there something that you've been collecting that every now and then you run across something, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like you got 1 or 2, 3 more of those things that.
The only thing I would say about that is Kiss. I stopped collecting Kiss stuff a long time ago, but every now and then
you'll
see something like
new or old.
new actually.
Yeah.
Because they're always putting out stuff,
Yeah.
Or at least they was. I don't know how much.
Oh, they
they're
still
gonna-
are. It's
But
just as bad.
it's not going to be theirs. I don't see them marketing. Well, maybe as well as Gene did, but
Yeah.
I mean, I know in the last 10 years, let's say, there's been some stuff that I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I
They
would
do
own that.
drops. They do a drop every month, probably. They'll take any record that's having an anniversary, and they'll print a new T-shirt.
Well, see, it's like you saying right there, like Creatures of the Night. I think they came out with their
Yep.
30th
we're
anniversary.
going to
25th or-
remaster the album. We're
and
going to print new shirts.
It had a couple tracks on it. There was like demos and stuff on it.
Yeah, all
And I
old
thought,
bands do that.
I seen that and I was like, well, that's interesting. And I done put off saying I ain't buy nothing else Kiss, other than a T-shirt from here and there. But I'm a sucker for a T-shirt, especially if it's got Kiss wrote on it. But
Yeah, I can see that.
Probably 50.
anything else though, like like a comic book or a action figure or anything like that. No, I ain't. What I got is what I got. But
Unless you came across one of
every
those,
now and then
a
you'll
good
see
deal
something.
on maybe some of the really cool old stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I thought twice after seeing that album or that CD because it was a double CD. And I was like, that'd be kind of cool. And I was like, no, but it did catch my eye though. So yeah, I would say Kiss is my one like that. How about you?
What was the question?
Is there something that you collect? It's like your low-level collecting. Like, as far as the group, you don't collect. We don't collect anything like it. It's something. It's maybe almost a what do you call it?
Your dirty little secret.
Well, yeah, sort of like that, or guilty pleasure collecting.
Guilty. Yeah, there you go.
Like, I don't need any of it, but I like this. I find one every now and then, or something like
Probably those Pepsi glasses.
that. Yeah,
For me, it's probably something like that. I don't buy too many of them.
yeah.
There's just something about them.
But you see one that you like, and you're like, oh, that intrigues me.
Yeah.
I've got 2 Grimace glasses. Anybody want those?
You got,
I've got one Grimace.
you got Grimace?
But Grimace wasn't part of the Pepsi Super Series. Those are the ones that really... Pepsi Super Series from the 70s.
Precise.
Oh yeah, he knows.
Razor sharp collecting. I love that.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they had the Warner Brothers. They had... So they had Looney Tunes and DC, and they had the Terry Tunes we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like Casper and Wendy. And then they had the Walter Lance with Woody Woodpecker and Andy Panda and all this.
Yeah,
We
I'm
found out
looking out
the
for the
Andy
Andy
Panda,
Panda.
sitting at the Wiener Bar.
Yeah, I'm gonna look
Found
out
out
for the
that Andy Panda.
Panda.
Glasses are worth like $200.
Wow, that's
He
amazing.
must be rare. I know out of the Looney Tunes set, this Slowpoke Rodriguez is the one who's very rare.
I think I'll put my Grimace glasses on eBay and see what happens.
Grimace is pretty common. That's
Rubble.
That's the
Grimace
No,
does
that
not
was
make that.
that's the
nice.
Hamburglar.
That was the Hamburglar.
Grimace changed over time. At first, he was a 6-armed,
Yeah,
kind of an enemy of Ronald.
yeah.
He would steal food, but he became a lovable friend to all.
I'm a lovable robber.
Well, not the Hamburglar. No, he
And
was.
we're talking about Grimace.
Grimace
Oh,
was.
that's
Grimace
right,
started
yeah.
off evil.
Yeah, I remember that.
The Hamburglar always stayed kind of like an anti-hero. He was still going to steal some burgers if he could.
Do you remember the McDonald's on Old 3rd Street Road over there across from Rutherford Middle School? That had you gone in there and it had the big tree
Yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah.
face on it, and then had the one whole area where they had it was like a bench, and you had the seats, and there was a Ronald in there, and I want to say there was a big ass Grimace or Hamburglar one.
You talking about the 2-story one?
No, it was on 3rd
They
Street
had
Road
that big tree, yeah.
over there by Iroquois Manor, down the street from it. Yeah, it had the big tree in there though, and that was the first McDonald's I ever went into. And I remember Mom and Dad never took me to no restaurants like
That's
that.
cultural impact.
I'm for real. And I remember a buddy of mine, I stayed all night with him that night before we went to school. They went to McDonald's, they got like a sausage biscuit. And we went in, and I was just like, I didn't know what to think. I just seen this big ass tree. And I, of course, seen the
And you can
commercials
eat
when I
here.
was a kid, knew about McDonald's, but never been in one. And I was like, wow, this place is like heaven, like this place is real, But it was
Well,
also.
yeah, they had a ball pit, and there was a playground and
Yeah.
a slide, and Mayor McCheese. Well, no, it was Officer Big Mac was on top of the prison, like the little monkey bars you could climb through.
But yeah, I remember going in that place for the first time, and I was just like, wow, that's
Yeah, the
so cool.
cookies, the little McDonald's cookies. You had the Happy Meal. The seats were cheeseburgers with faces,
that's what it was. They
anthropomorphic
just- yes.
cheeseburger faces.
And
Kids
looking back,
today,
it was kind of probably creepy, but I thought that was the coolest thing.
they have nothing like that. Absolutely
Nothing like
nothing
that no
even
more.
fucking close. And they'll probably roll their eyes and say, "Oh, I don't. Well, who cares?" If you'd have been there, you'd have seen how fucking epic it was. And that really was something.
There was something.
People would think you're crazy if you suggested something like that now. It's so boring and sterile. McDonald's is.
Man, I want to see pictures of that. I bet there's pictures.
Oh, there's
somewhere
tons of them. There's
I
actually
want to see
there,
that now because I've.
out in the South End. There's that collector. Danita stopped by. She took pictures from her car one time. He's got tons of this shit in his backyard. All the old playground stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you can see a lot of it in person.
Oh, I think you told me about that.
Yeah.
Did you say that?
Mhm.
I forgot about that.
Oh, and there's tons of photos online of how it used to look. It was.
The place out in...
You wonder why Burger King never. Why didn't they try that?
Well, they finally did with the king, but
They had original characters, but they
Yeah.
were awful. The Sir Shakes a lot.
the
and-
last few times I've seen any kind of structural McDonald's like characters like out on a restaurant was out in St. Matthews. Like up until like 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago,
Had
they
to be
still
20.
had they still had one of the, I think the mayor, I think they had a few of the Fry Guy seats.
Yeah, it had to have been 20 years ago.
Yeah, because I was living out there, and I remember driving around. I was like, "Holy shit, they still have this stuff."
Yeah, but even like Chuck E. Cheese, all the animatronics are gone. Nothing but screens and games now.
Well, it's
I mean,
the
it's
future,
like
I
Talk
guess.
about cultural impact. Chuck E. Cheese created because the big Five Nights at Freddy's is directly. I don't want to hear any disagreement on that. Scott Cawthorn, directly took that from his childhood. There's no way he did.
Yeah, right.
It had to have impacted him. It,
He went in
it
there
did
and
me.
thought he probably sat there and looked at them things. Man, these things are more creepy than they are cool.
Yeah.
And it's like I wonder, and you went from there.
I'll
with that
never
method.
forget going in there and then bringing out the pizza, and then you'd sit there and listen to the show because sitting in that place, they looked so big. We were small.
And see, the first time I went to one, it was with a friend, Steve Shields. His mom took me and him on his birthday one year, and that's the first time I ever went to Chuck E. Cheese's. And they did the whole show on the stage and everything. I was just like, whoa.
And my grandmother liked to, while we played games, she would sit in the King's Lounge and listen to that big lion that we saw at Jungle Jim's. He would sing Elvis songs for like a whole set. And so he ran for like a half hour, and then he'd turn off for a while. I think he played hourly. He was just programmed like that.
Or he probably had one of the motion things on him where.
No, I don't think he just turned on whenever. I think there were set times that he would come on. So it was like a live performer. If you missed the set, you had to wait till the next one, like Wayne Newton, right? He was doing the shows. No, all that stuff was great about living in the 80s, being a kid in the 80s. No online, no screens to distract you.
The final time of magic.
It was. It really was. The 90s. I'd say the 90s. The 90s kids had it pretty good too.
I think the 90s kids I love
Maybe
the 80s.
even a little better.
I love the 80s music, don't get me wrong, but I think 90s is when music really kind of...
Well, that's
my
formative
opinion.
years.
But
No,
I think 90s
we were old
music
in the
really
90s. We
kind
were
of peaked, though. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
we were adults in the 90s. If you were 15 in 1995, it was probably a whole different experience.
Right.
They had just enough technology, but not too much. They had more than we had, but they didn't have too much.
There's a little sweet spot right there in the 90s, yeah.
Yeah. The pager was all you really needed. You should have stopped with the pager. You could get voicemails.
No, Captain Kurt, man. Him and Spock had to be talking on them iPhones we got today. Well, they don't flip no more. Remember the flip phones?
I mean, a lot of things have been made.
You can still get them.
Yeah, you're right. You can.
Because people could still learn directions when going places. I know the GPS it's a huge thing.
Yep.
That's what Mahaley asked me not too long ago. She says, I hear you talking about going to all these places for these concerts, and you drove. She says, so why don't you know the roads better than you do? I said, well, the roads changed a lot over the years. She said, well, how would you get from here to there and if you didn't know the way? I said, well, that thing called map. I said, pull out a map. Everybody had one in their car if they was smart knowing they was going somewhere.
You went with somebody before that and learned to route it.
Well, yeah, you just going to Kings Island.
Yep.
You would just go to Cincinnati, and then you'd get directions once you got off.
But it made
They
me
put
think
up signs
when we went to
for big
Bogarts that
places
night.
like that. They put up signs.
And there were signs.
But I remember we was all in Jerry's green. What was that? Camaro.
IROC.
Was it IROC?
Yeah.
And we all went to go to Bogarts to go see the Misfits, and we all crammed in that car, and I think there was someone following us, and I remember whoever was in the passenger seat. I want to say maybe it was Jerry. He had to pull out a map to make sure we was going the right way.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, there were maps.
And now your telephone tells you take a left here, stay in the right 2 lanes.
which could be better for a lot of people, but it's not necessary. You could have gone on without it.
Right.
The biggest thing for the cell phone is it probably has saved a lot of lives. It's definitely saved a lot of lives. People stranded. Right. I remember one time we got kicked out of Magbar because it was closed. Right? So it's going on 4 a.m.
Jesus.
And we walked across the street to this old ratty payphone to call our cab.
Yep.
And we had called the cab earlier from the bar, but it never came. So then it was like, we have to leave the bar. So we're standing out in the corner, Magnolia, at 4 a.m, pretty shady, and called another cab, to come get us. There was enough of us. I think there were some kind of shady people passing, but there was a big enough bunch of us. No one tried anything. So that versus
Call an Uber.
Uber, which is going to tell you who's coming to get you,
Yep.
when they're coming.
Yep.
Here they are.
What they look like, right?
Yeah. Versus waiting for the cab whenever it gets there.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Whenever it gets
Whenever, or sometimes they would call your house and be like, "This is Yellow Cab. Your cab will arrive in
Yeah.
6 minutes."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
'cause
so
we
you
used to
so
take
you would know
cabs
to go
in
outside
Magbar a lot.
and go outside and look, but so yeah, some things have improved. Once again, though, you could have continued living without it, We've given up a lot of things. Given up a lot. You have zero privacy.
Mm. Yep.
Zero privacy. I mean, everything
Yeah.
you buy is tracked.
Your digital information
Yeah,
is very important.
with
to a lot of
cards
people.
and
Yeah.
your bank cards and your credit cards. Yeah, everybody
Well,
knows
let's
where you at.
use
1 minute.
cash. Like tonight, going to Yum Center, cashless venue. Can't
It was
use
like
cash
the-
at all.
Went to a baseball game and everything
cuts
there.
down on robbery.
Well, and thievery too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to Atlanta and seen the Atlanta Braves play, and everything there, you could not pay cash for nothing.
London was like that.
And I remember I was so mad because that's all I brought was cash, thinking, all right, this be easy. I'll pay with everything with cash. No, I was like, man, that made me. It was. I see it, and I understand it, but still, I wasn't happy about it. I was like, well, nobody know how to count anymore. I was like,
Yeah.
I knew what it was though, but it's still. I was just
Artists and your small business owners want cash. Who
Yes.
still wants cash? Like your
Yeah.
tattoo artist wants cash.
Yeah. you
People
don't
at the
have to claim
farmers
it.
market want cash.
Make more money that way.
Yeah, because they get charged for processing
Or,
all these
yeah,
cards and
Credit cards and taxes.
yeah. The bartender at the Wiener bar wants cash so she can pay
I
her
pay
rent.
my rent. Okay.
It wasn't her fault.
No. Doofy.
Oh, that guy was terrible.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah.
If we were Karens, I'd write a Yelp about that guy. Get that guy out of
Red
there.
haired
Yes.
beard guy.
Comes up to us,
Hey,
says,
come get your son out of here.
And
Says-
and just ignores us for the rest of the time.
says
Motherfucker.
the bar is full serve. If you don't want to wait in this line, come
But it's
sit
like,
at the bar.
do y'all want to start a tab? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, okay.
And then he just forgot us. Didn't even give me bread or little cokes.
Yeah.
Took the drink orders. Never.
I think they're confused because, like we said, the Cokes are behind us, but there was no cups over there, and they were like, "Well,
You want me to go get it for you?
yeah, you want me to go get your Cokes for you?" Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Do we?
Do we?
Well, why would
Right.
you? Why would you tell someone that it's full service? You can get your food. He said you can order food,
Yeah.
and he never took a food order.
No.
He gave us
Gave us menus.
menus and everything.
So he
right.
knew that we were going to look at food. And then we sat there while
And they
he
had
filled.
plenty of people working there.
Yeah,
We could have stayed in line and done ordered our food.
That's
he was,
Yeah.
and he was walking around bringing beers to people all over the
all
place.
over the place. Yeah. And I'm just like, he totally forgot us over here.
Well, we were looking right at him. I was staring at
Yeah,
daggers
he-
through him a
Well,
couple
he did a
times.
damn fine job of not making eye contact. A lot.
Luckily for us,
I
the
think
little
Jesus
blonde
was the
come
guy
and
that's
said
scared
today.
to take a food order.
But I don't think the blonde would have said nothing to us either.
She wouldn't have.
Unless you said something to her.
Well, I kept trying to waiting for that eye contact moment. You know?
Then she kept apologizing.
Yeah.
I was like, it's all right. I ain't gonna be a Karen to you, but this service sucks. You have got to get that together.
Yep.
I mean, I know they're probably like a week old, and you got to get the kinks out.
Well, I
But,
was
uh,
going to say something to because I guess that was the manager, the big
guy?
Big guy. And I was like, we could probably get some pretty good service out of him.
No. I see. It's already maybe. I would not want to. I know the ordering. If I ever want to order a sandwich and run over there and get it, it's very convenient because I've done
Use
it.
The app.
I did it on the app,
Yeah.
and the app
points.
does work. And I went in there. Unlike this ticket app tonight, their app does work. I just walked up there. You walk to the front of the line. They give you a little. Looks like a boutique shopping bag that says "We love wieners" on the box, and then you're good. You go home and eat.
Box of dick.
Penny, I had a cheeseburger the other night. She was just like dying to get some. So
She's being
Yeah,
awful
she's
quiet.
Yeah, she's all on her perch.
She likes
Penny.
Jason. She's hanging out with her buddy.
but so yes, that's the doghouse.
The doghouse.
Very poor service. Need to improve
Neat
on that.
looking place though. I like the setup.
Yeah.
I think it's a chain. It's one of the first ones in the region. Kind of like how there's a couple of Jack in the Boxes in Louisville now.
You know what I really want to
I know,
know
yeah.
is
Have you ate there yet?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
who? Jack in the Box?
Yeah.
No, I did, and I'm not impressed.
Really? You didn't like it either?
No. I was like, okay.
I had a friend that I work with at work. He's from California, and apparently there's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, you ain't never been there?" I was like, "No, dude, I've hardly ever been out of Kentucky." He was like, "Well, you gotta go, you gotta go." Well, one night, I was like, after it had been open for a while, and the line had stopped being so long because for the first month, that place was like,
Yeah, like every day, because
My
I go to the
God.
grocery
It
over
looked like
there.
a Chick-fil-A without the Chick-fil-A
Yes.
service.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, geez. And so when it finally died down, I went there and I get the tacos because it said the
Oh,
best.
the mini tacos?
Oh, God,
Or
that-
no, I got the regular one, and that was a fucking...
The
that
mini
was
ones
awful.
and the regular
It's
ones were
awful.
awful. And
How
he
could
kept saying, "Did
tacos
you get
be-
the sauce with it?" I'm like,
It's like they
I
deep
don't
fried
think it
it,
would
and
have
then
helped.
they put lettuce in it and deep fried.
"Yeah."
Like, here you go. And it's all... It's just... It's a chewy mess.
It's
Well, it doesn't sound very good.
it's not.
No.
And the hamburgers, well, the hamburgers were all right, I guess, but don't get the chicken tenders. Oh my God, no.
Really?
Yeah, they was like, maybe I think they just needed to change the grease or something, but still, it was like,
They refried.
I do wonder how this place stays so popular.
Yeah.
Because it's new, I guess. I don't know, but
Yeah.
maybe I was a bad night. But I know I at least tried 3 times there, and I won't go back.
Chick-fil-A may be, they may be controversial, but Jesus, you go in that place, how may we help you today?
Oh, no, yeah, I kind of like Chick-fil-A.
They're
yeah.
all up on you.
Yeah, they're
My
friendly, though.
pleasure. There's no ignoring you for 20 minutes.
No.
They are right.
Everybody's friendly, smiling at you.
Yeah.
They act like that's the best place in the world to work at. I'm like, wow.
It's like Dairy Queen not long ago. The kid just stood there and just like stared. I'm not kidding. He didn't. You know,
Didn't say, "May I help you?" or
Oh
nothing.
no! And you could tell everyone had their earbuds in. They were listening to the music, and I get it because the music they were playing in the store was awful, and they had no control over that. So I get
what
that.
do you think he was listening to besides what was being played?
Well, I could hear it. It was some kind of rap music. That was.
Oh, okay.
I just mean, obviously, you're
Tech Nine.
distracted from working. Tech Nine is great. I saw Tech Nine in the new Falling in Reverse video.
You would think if he was listening to Tech Nine, he'd be moving around a little
Tech
bit more.
Nine and Alex Terrible. Ronnie Radke.
I want to know when Godzilla -1 is going to be available to watch again.
I think
I
they
need this
got it-
information. I have been looking and I have not seen this information.
They're selling it in Japan already, and they saying they're waiting a little bit longer to distribute it over here. Because I want to see it myself. I didn't get to go see it, so
I hope they make a black and white copy.
they're
A
they
black
might.
and white copy.
Yeah, they might.
It's much, much better than seeing Godzilla versus Kong.
I still hadn't seen it.
Were they tag team together like the Justice League?
It's such a goofy movie. It's just goofy. It's fun, I guess.
Yeah, because they're tag team champions.
Did you just burp into the microphone?
I did.
Yeah.
If you like,
All right, I work.
if you like,
Mr. Stern. Papa
if you really like those '70s Godzilla Showa era
I
films,
do, but it's like I look at some of what they've done and I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch any of it. I mean, I can't tell you the many times that I've watched the previous one. Like, it's been several times, but it's like I take big hard skips. Like, I will say press play and then, like, let's go 7 chapters in. Let's go. And then I fall asleep.
You said I'm going to get to the meat of it, and I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah, I'm going to just see all the dazzling stuff and just... Phew.
Good.
So we
Yeah.
done talking?
Hmm?
Are we still talking? We got another
What's our time limit?
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
All right, well, in 5 minutes here, what we're going to end this up with?
I got a dog behind my ear now.
Okay, we're seeing Cheap Trick and Heart in concert tonight. So what are your favorite songs by either band?
Oh, wow. I got a lot of favorites. See, who's the opening? Who's the
Cheap
opening?
Trick's opening.
And so Heart's the...
Yeah,
the
I can imagine. Hard opening for Cheap Trick.
All right. So,
I couldn't name a fucking song.
all right, so...
Either band?
Did they do Barracuda?
Heart does Barracuda.
Yes,
Okay.
Heart does
Okay, so
Barracuda.
that's your Heart song.
And then there's that other one. And there's All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You. Is
They
that
won't do
she
that
got
one,
of
I don't
those?
think.
They won't do that live because they hate that song.
Oh, okay.
But that is their song.
That is their
look at
song,
them.
That's
Hell, I'm
two.
firing on all the cylinders.
You just got to come up with a Cheap Trick song.
Don't Tell Me You Love Me. And the only reason I can say that is because you sung it
It's
earlier.
Night Ranger, so it's
That's
Oh,
Night Ranger,
no.
yeah.
See, I don't know.
you do know. You got to know
Come
a
on,
Cheap Trick
I will
song.
probably hear it play and go, oh, yeah.
I was going to say, you should know at least one
I can't
Cheap
wait
Trick
for
song.
that moment during the show where I go, oh, yeah.
So my favorite Cheap Trick thing is that when we went to see Famous Monsters, if you remember this, they did a cover version of Clock Strikes 10.
Didn't they do that on their album, too?
It is on the album, and on the album it interviews all three girls from Famous Monsters, and it asks them all three their favorite bands was Cheap Trick.
Cheap
So
Trick.
all three of them. The Famous Monsters were big fans of Clock Strikes 10, which Surrender, is overwhelmingly people's favorite song, and it is.
You think?
It's iconic. Yeah,
You think Surrender over...
I Want You to Want Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Surrender's better.
Well, I mean, yeah,
it's my
but
favorite.
I think I Want You to Want Me is more popular, though, than...
And for
Surrender.
Heart, I think Crazy on You is one of the best songs of the 70s. Period, hands down. That
Crazy
intro,
on You?
I mean,
From
of
the
all
70s?
genres, from the 70s, just that Nancy intro and Ann's vocals on that one combined.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I like
fucking-
Magic Man. I think that's a good song. I like What About Love? I think that's a good song. Don't you want
If you
someone
go for
to
the
care?
80s cheese,
I like some of
it's
the
These
80s cheese.
Dreams is the best of the 80s cheese. And they do that one. And Cheap Trick does The Flame, which was their biggest hit
Yeah, that
ever.
was their-
and you know that
There's a
song.
lot of people going to get laid.
And they also do.
They will. A lot of
Their 80s cheese was also The Flame and the Elvis cover.
the Don't Be Cruel.
Don't Be Cruel, right?
And they had a bunch of. That was the
Lap
Lap
of Luxury was a pretty
Lap
good
of
album.
Luxury
Yeah, it was a
record.
pretty good album
Had
for what at that time.
Don't Be Cruel, The Flame, Ghost Town was another song.
Ghost Town was
off that album.
one, yeah.
And then they never really
Really topped that one.
topped
after
that on the charts. In fact, they did not.
I think the Don't Be Cruel they got pretty big with that one.
Yeah, Don't Be Cruel and The Flame were both top 10 hits off that record. And they never went back top 10 again.
Yeah,
But they've put out a shitload of records since then.
yeah.
And Heart, they with All I Want to Do in 1990, that was their top
But
apex.
I like the old school Cheap Trick though, like Dream Police.
Dream
and,
Police is awesome. I hope they do Dream Police.
and Voices. I love Voices.
Yeah, Voices is good.
Oh, and there's a bunch of
3 out of the 4 same old
I know
guys,
and
old
then-
ass dudes up there.
And then Heart. Let's see, was there another Heart I liked? I don't know. It was a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna have fun tonight.
Even It Up's good.
Even It Up. And then
Straight
Dog
On,
and-
Straight On's a
Straight
badass
On,
song.
Dog and a Butterfly.
Dog and they do a whole big acoustic set that has Dog and Butterfly and
And don't they do a Led Zeppelin cover?
they do a couple
Evermore.
Zeppelin songs. I'm not sure which ones they'll do. Last time we saw them, they did Black Dog, and she do part of Stairway to Heaven. She always does a Zeppelin song or two. So there'll be a couple.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
So Jason, you're gonna have a treat tonight, buddy.
Yes, 2 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame bands.
I am
You will
excited.
be at it all at the end of the show.
Yes,
Anyway, we'll give you an update
and
how
they're
our
from the
concert.
'70s. You just never know how many more times we're gonna. I see
All right.
Alice Cooper every year, but from how many of these people from the '70s can you keep seeing?
Right.
Kiss is gone. We can try to see Ace Frehley.
We wish Molly Crew was gone.
No, they're from the '80s. They're not the
No, nobody's going to do
No.
a digital scan of them and put them into. The
I do not want.
computer.
I want Vince to keep singing as long as he can. That is. Yeah.
Fred's
Who's
been
that
sending me
big Mac?
videos of Vince here lately.
Ham on
And one of
pea.
them was like, "What did he just say?" It's just like,
He is great. I think he's. He's a fucking national treasure. We need to keep Vince Neil touring. If I was John 5, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I want to stand up there.
That's
Pay
the
for this
greatest. Fuck Rob.
He's the greatest. He's up there. Like Tommy Lee's all like, yeah, dude, this is great, man. We're just like, we're so awesome.
Throw the backup
They just get
singers
to
up
go to
there.
their separate rooms at the end of the show.
It's just, man, their songs are not, they don't have good songs. And they look so ridiculous being so old and singing about strip clubs and stuff. It just looks dumb. It sounds dumb. And the guy can't sing. So,
He's a national treasure.
which makes it so fucking hilarious that I can't stop watching it.
It's like a train wreck, right?
It is. I can't. Those practical jokes, the David Rubel, whatever the radio show in the morning.
So they need
Brooke
to
and
make
Jubal.
a Danzig movie with Vince Neil as the musician.
stripper.
Or
Oh,
he
yes.
does the
With
music for
eyeballs
the
on his nipples. Or his belly
I
button.
want Vince has to be the singer in the strip club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, because I saw it, how bad it was at the fair a couple of years ago. I mean, it was.
Well, hell, that
so
one
bad.
time we seen their last.
He wasn't that bad then. That was
Oh,
10
he was
years
pretty
ago.
bad though. He was pretty bad. I remember I was disappointed because I seen him open up with Kiss. What in 2012, and he was actually all right. Remember he had a crutch on his leg or something, or a cast on his leg. I mean,
He had gout.
he walked around with a cane, but he sounded
Trying to
good.
keep his foot
But that
from
last time we
exploding.
seen him in Noblesville.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
Well, it's the fair show.
Did you
I
just
saw
say
Nobles.
no?
Noblesville.
Noblesville.
Well, I saw him after that, and so Kicks opened up, and Kicks were fantastic. They sounded great. They have since retired. Kicks have called it an end, but they were great. Vince gets out there. He takes these long breaks. I swear to God, he didn't sing any.
There was some asthma.
He didn't sing any of the lyrics, like the chorus of the song. And just like, rah, rah, rah.
You know the words better than I do.
Your turn.
And his backup band was Slaughter. It was the guys from Slaughter and Zoltan Chaney on drums. Zoltan Chaney's a fucking beast. So they were more entertaining. What I remember from that show is that Vince went backstage and sat down for a half hour, and those guys in Slaughter played
an ice bath or something.
they played like a Zeppelin Black Sabbath medley instrumental. They did Heaven and Hell, and it went into some Zeppelin stuff. And they did this real long jam on Heaven and
just
Hell.
jammed, huh?
It
Do you
was
think-
fucking great. And I was like, this is the best part of the show. Then Vince comes back out, and it all goes to hell again. Just like,
Well, Vince is bad.
That
Just
should
showed
be
them
the
one
name of
shit.
the tour. Well, it goes all to hell again.
I was looking. They didn't even set up a merch booth. I was like, no, they didn't.
I wonder if he talks to his agent and he goes, "How many more?" All right.
Okay, no, I will challenge you to go on Spotify or whatever you listen to music on. Listen to the new Sebastian Bach record, because I don't know if it's studio enhanced or not, but he sounds fantastic, and it sounds like
18
if Skid Row would have made a album after Slave to the Grind with him in that style, it sounds exactly like it.
Okay.
If that,
Done with AI.
if that is actually him, he's better live than Vince. He's much better than Vince, right? So I think
Probably because he wants to be better than Vince, which is probably saying a lot.
I've seen him live before.
it's heavily
He is
produced.
good.
It's probably heavily produced.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, he's pushing 60 if he's not already.
yeah, but it's a good rock record. It's actually it's for that era.
I
of-
think Sebastian.
Yeah. It's like, you follow some of them on, some of these guys are to the point where you can follow them on Instagram and they will actually respond to you because there's only maybe a couple hundred people following.
Gotta keep that IP alive.
Well, Lorraine Lewis from
Cooking. I'm cooking.
Keep the IP Alive, like how many Femme Fatale fans are still out there?
Right.
I know you are.
I don't know if I am or not.
What is it? Film
Femme Fatale.
Or what are we talking about? An album or a movie or?
It was a band.
It was a band, but
Oh.
I'm trying to
The
think of a
singer is
song.
Lorraine Lewis, and she's now the singer for Vixen, but she does.
Oh yeah, this is what
So
you
her
said
on
me not too long
Instagram,
ago.
yeah, her on Instagram, she takes seductive pictures. Now she's older now.
Uh-huh.
She takes sexy pictures, and she posts them and plays
She got
their new
OnlyFans.
song, right? No, she's not on OnlyFans, but she does this, right? So this is funny. So today she got on there and she goes, I can't believe someone made this comment. And she shows this comment some guy said, he said, what is this person doing? Nobody wants to look at you. You seem full of yourself. Look at me. Look at me. And she goes, hell yeah, I'm in a rock and roll band. I'm the singer. This is what we do. And she's showing her tits and everything. She's probably a little too old to be doing some of this, right?
She said, I still got it.
She's still thinking, I still got it.
I would love that type of freedom. What'd you do today? I responded to somebody's.
I still got it.
Oh, wait. I want to be that rich. That's how rich I want to be.
She sent me an autograph. She sent me an autographed CD for free. I didn't even pay for shipping. It's true. I have it
awesome.
it's in a pile over there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I won it in her contest, which like 20 people entered.
Okay.
And so the odds were in my favor. I can win.
He said,
That's awesome.
he said it was too easy to gamble.
Well, they'll be at the Hair Metal Festival. Y'all should go. Everyone should
Where's
go.
it at?
It's at Lynn Family Stadium, the soccer stadium.
Where the hell is that at?
It's in your city of Louisville.
Oh,
we can GPS it or look it up on a map.
Dig out a map and find it.
all right. That should conclude our episode now.
Well, thanks for listening to us if you got this far.
Yes. Thanks for listening to us if you've gotten this far.
Listen to some Skid Row, some Femme Fatale.
Yes.
Waiting for the big one. That's
Look
her
it
song.
all up. Keep it alive. Keep
Rock
life support. Keep it alive.
Keep reading.
Keep reading.
DC and
Creep
Marvel
join.
and
Go buy art.
And Three Stooges.
and
And
Three
the Three
Stooges
Stooges.
for sure.
All right.
Like
Well,
and
thanks.
subscribe.